My name's Daniel Abbott. I'm 40 years old now, and I'm a plumber, A-ticket gas fitter. Basically, I was riding on the motorbike. A car left a stop sign right in front of me, and basically, I had nowhere to go but plow right into the side of him. I mean, it never stops. I'm in constant pain 24/7. I can't do more than half of what I used to do in terms of my job. So I'm losing a bunch of money because I'm self-employed. And basically, because of ICBC's new rules, they don't care if my company goes bankrupt because those aren't personal losses as they view it, even though in the long term, I'm affected personally because I'm losing everything I own potentially and everything I've built for 15 years because of somebody else's careless actions. And as a result, I'm in pain, I'm suffering, I can barely move. I mean, I used to be an extremely active person, and now I can barely get up to walk across the living. So, as a self employed person, and I only have myself, it's a one man company, they don't care about any of my losses, and I'm just supposed to lose everything because I can't do half the stuff. So, I was right from day one forced to keep working because essentially if I don't work, then I lose all my business and my customers. And if I took the time off to heal properly, by the time I'm done, I wouldn't have a company. I didn't know the extent of the injuries at first, right? Like, nobody told me I had a broken spine, even though I had X-rays on my spine until I ended up getting an MRI, which was months later due to our healthcare system, right? So the whole time I'm working through that, not really knowing how bad it was, A, and B, feeling like I didn't have a choice because while ICBC would replace my personal lost wages, they're not going to look at anything from my company. So, I mean, I'd be losing $10,000 or more easily. For example, in August, I guess probably about 40 grand in business. But they pay me a pittance of what my company would earn and basically just the little bit that I would pay myself, which is generally just enough to pay my bills, essentially, because I try to keep as much money as I can in the business for downturns and things like this, where I'm now like, I was paying myself out of savings as well because I'm not really working for a lot of that time. And so that money is dwindling, but then they go, well, you're basically don't have any losses. And I'm going, well, I do. I'm just paying myself out of my own personal savings so that I can pay my bills because what you're paying me is not enough. So I'm topping myself up and paying myself some money out of my business savings. But I'm losing thousands of dollars because I can't do the work that I used to do. And basically the only thing they were giving me that little bit of personal money for up till July of last year. And then they basically said, well, now we're only going to pay for your medical treatments. So I've been in a no fault insurance situation or a different situation instead of this one. At least potentially I could get reimbursed for some of what I've lost, as well as there's basically no coverage for the pain and suffering that I'm in. So I'm in pain 24/7. It never stops. I'm in agony some days to the point where I can't get out of bed. And I'm just supposed to eat that. I'm supposed to eat the loss of my business, eat the loss of my company customers and stuff like that, because they call me and go, hey, can you come help with this? And I'm like, unfortunately, I can't do that, or I'm too sore today, or whatever the case is. I'm losing thousands and thousands of dollars, and ICBC doesn't really have an answer for that. Whereas if we were in the old system, at least I would be able to hire a lawyer and be compensated. So I blame the people that came up with this idea. I mean, they have people working at ICBC at the top that are making $500,000 a year. They steal the funds. The government steals the funds from ICBC to go put into their own general revenues. And then ICBC is forced to basically come up with these ludicrous ideas, like taking away our benefits that we've paid for and coming up with things that don't serve people like me. I would say that it's time to end ICBC in general and privatize and let competition come to the market, or let ICBC compete with private companies, which would be the best of both worlds. Because then they're forced to keep their staff at a normal level. They're forced to keep paying people at a normal level. They can't have people making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for doing nothing. And in my experience, because I am a capitalist, anytime government gets involved with these things, the bureaucracy kills it. It's a great in theory kind of thing, but bureaucracy makes it so inefficient and so costly that it's not sustainable. I could potentially sue this guy for a lot of money because he's screwed up my whole life. And at least then I'd be taken care of. Whereas now, I mean, it's big hush hush. They say, well, maybe if you can't do this, we can do something. Or if you do lose your company, maybe there'll be some funding for you. But will it be what I would have potentially earned? No, it's never going to be as much as I could have earned. It's never going to be anywhere near what my potential was. I just turned 40 and I've lost my entire way to earn an income. And I'm a highly trained specialist. Like, to go and retrain myself in any field, I'm looking at 6 to 10 years to get to the level that I'm currently at, is giving birth. I'm under so much stress because of their policies that it's making me sicker. Like, I'm so stressed. Even my physiotherapist is like, how does ICBC expect you to get better when they don't support you financially, when they don't support you mentally, because they put me through all of this. No fault insurance is a complete joke. And especially for somebody who's self-employed, you really don't have insurance. In fact, ICBC suggested that I use my company insurance to cover my losses because they're now considered secondary insurance in their opinion. And so I should use my private insurance to fund somehow my lost ability to earn, which I don't even think I can do because my insurance would laugh at me. But they're trying to suggest that they don't have any liability for my lost ability to earn because of somebody else's negligence, which is completely, in my mind, erroneous, and essentially them trying to get out of doing what their job is. Like, this is why I had insurance, was so that I would be covered in a worst case scenario. Well, I faced that worst case scenario, or nearly. I mean, I could be dead if I'd have been 3 feet to the right. You know what I mean? It probably would have been even worse. But the reality is there is no protection for somebody in my shoes. I'm supposed to lose everything I have to the point of I can't pay my mortgage, and then I'll get help, because then they can see a personal loss.